It's the middle of the night. Or really, the middle of the day, right? Sitting in your crib, relaxing. Beautiful mansion. All of a sudden you hear, boom! Guns are drawn. Like, what the fuck is this? Diddy's house getting raided.
Both his houses getting raided.
Both his houses.
Miami
and
New York.
Three, yeah.
And New York too, or no?
New York.
No, I heard it was just
don't
LA
think
and
so.
Miami.
No, Miami and LA.
Right. I know you.
Mm-hmm.
You read the transcript on the whole shit.
Well, I read the Lil Rod lawsuit transcript.
Right.
You know, because he hasn't been charged by the feds at this time.
At all.
Not yet.
No.
I've been hearing stories about planes being forced to land and
No, I don't know. That's not true.
you know, people, excessive force being used, videotapes getting snatched out of the crib.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. I believe it's true.
Well, you don't raid a house just to do it.
Right.
You raid a house because you're grabbing things out that house to be used as evidence for a impending indictment.
Now, the feds are usually like, when they come, we got you.
Yeah.
It's don't even think about it.
Yeah, like
we
a
know
90%
everything.
success rate?
98%.
98%.
98%.
Right.
Why do you think he hasn't been charged with anything yet?
Listen, I've interviewed enough mafia guys to continuously hear the term, the wheels of justice move slowly. There's no reason for them to hurry. They're going to slowly, you know, these things take years sometimes to put together.
Right.
And they've probably been working on this now for a very long time. They're getting all their witnesses together. They're getting, you know, they'll see, you know, they're going through everything they got from the house.
Right.
Going through whatever hard drives and videotapes and text messages. His companies are being subpoenaed.
Right.
Let's not forget that part. So financial records are being put together. Cassie, it's been reported that she's cooperating, right? And you got to understand, this is a very interesting point, is that she filed a civil lawsuit.
I thought that leaves her out of it. That's it.
No, well, and I'm going to explain.
As soon as she does that.
No, I'm going to explain this,
Right.
She filed a civil lawsuit. He settled that lawsuit with her very quickly. Now, I'm 99.9% positive that part of the settlement was an NDA, which means that she can't write a book, she can't do interviews, she can't do a documentary.
She can't divulge.
But when
anything.
it comes to a criminal proceeding,
She can assist.
private contracts, which an NDA is, get thrown out the window. And she can be compelled to cooperate and essentially say everything that was said in that lawsuit on the stand.
Through the threat of contempt.
Through the threat. Well, she can be compelled to cooperate. They could say maybe they got something on her as well. Hey, listen, we know that maybe you did some sex trafficking. You know what I mean? Like I'd heard, for example, I'm not going to say from who, you know, the whole thing of the hiring of male prostitutes. From what I understand, she would pick out the male prostitutes sometimes. That was her thing as well. I had heard that from someone close to the situation. So you could be charged for prostitute solicitation.
Now, Vlad,
unless you cooperate, because we're not really after you, we're after him.
I want to be clear on this. Where
Yes.
did you hear that she would pick them out?
From somebody I know. I'm not going to say who.
So that kind of takes a little bit of the sting of her being forced.
You can't be with someone for 10 years
And
just be forced. Unless you're chained in a basement.
Right.
You know?
Right.
She's been
To a
outside at parties and the Met Gala. There was no chain that he had her on.
Right.
She wanted to be in this. You know, and for example, I talked to Roger Bonds. I didn't do this interview, but he actually did the same interview on the Danza Project. I passed on it, and Danza Project ended up doing it.
Right.
He told me that they'd be in the car, and she'd be in the back seat, and she would punch Diddy in the face. And then he would jump in the back seat, and they would start tussling, and he'd have to roll up the windows or whatever else. But the physical abuse was happening both ways. And of course, he saw him physically abuse her sometimes, but it would go both ways. Like,
So they're fighting.
They're fighting.
They're having a fight.
Fighting.
That shit happens in the
People who fight each
projects.
other.
They're fighting.
Say
You
it
know,
again?
and, but
happens in the
when you're
projects.
the
They just
girl,
rich. They just
when
rich.
you're the girl,
Right.
you're always going to be the
Give him the
victim.
benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
But there's lots of violent women out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Factory settings.
I think we've all probably had them in our lives.
Oh,
That's
Jesus.
Yo,
I got slapped a few
I had
times.
someone who was a centerfold for Vibe magazine.
Hitting you?
Not only hitting me, she bit the shit out of me. I couldn't take the abusive shit no more.
right.
Picked her up, took her to the door. There you go.
She
Yeah.
bit you
She knocked on the door.
and bit you where?
And she was like, baby, please, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And, you know, I felt bad because that was my girl. It's just, you know, she crazy. You know, her parents was crazy.
Yeah.
You find out the stories as you get, like you ever, like smash something and then shorty start talking about her life and you like, what the fuck did I just get myself into? You know what I'm saying?
No,
It was
listen.
one of those situations, but
Yeah.
she's
No.
begging at the door.
Yeah.
Oh, you fucking dummy. You
I
opened
went
it.
for it. I went for it. I
bit
fucking
you.
opened it.
Where did she bite you?
Yo,
bro?
I opened it. She said, I'm sorry.
No.
And bit the shit. Like her teeth marks to this day are here.
Damn.
Bit the shit out of me and dipped. Bro, I was so fucked up. I'm like, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm this, that. But I was scared. I locked the door again. I'm like, what the fuck?
I
What
went
the
and
fuck
opened
was
it.
that?
I went and opened it. The calls
Listen,
coming
we've,
from
we've
inside the
all
house.
been
But
through it.
but the
with
point is,
violent women.
if you saw her, you wouldn't have a fucking clue.
right.
You would be like, oh my God, she's so gorgeous.
Well, whoever
You
has
wouldn't
a clue.
even think that she gets drunk and she puts on a hoodie and ties it on as tight as she can and starts fighting with a 6'3" nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
you wouldn't think that.
Right. But it happens.
But it happens.
It happens. You know, and for example, like I talked to someone as well about this, and they said whenever they were with Cassie, she would be trying to convince them to talk to Diddy for them to get married because Diddy didn't want to marry her. You know what I mean? But she wanted to be married. She was like, yo, talk to Diddy. Yo, like how, like, ask me to marry him because I want to do it. Like, I'm tired of just dating him. Like, I want to be married. You know what I'm saying? So, so there's dimensions to this.
Right.
There's a lot of dimensions to this shit. But ultimately, we don't know what's happening
It's 10
right
years
now.
of a relationship that
It's
I
a
was
10
never
year.
there. I
Yeah,
was-
none of us
Nobody
were
was
None of us
there.
was there.
We hear stories, we hear this, and there was probably some abuse, and it probably was both ways, and there's a lot of sexual shit, and it was probably both ways, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, she was a young girl at the time. Maybe she liked having young, you know, ripped dudes fucking her as opposed to Diddy. You know, maybe he liked to watch that. You know what I mean? But, you know, when it comes out in a lawsuit, I was forced to have sex with male prostitutes. We don't know what really happened.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it seems like when the feds go and raid multiple homes and they come in with guns and they're seizing property, they already have a bunch of shit lined up. I don't think they're just shooting in the air hoping they'll hit something. I think they have a whole bunch of stuff. She's cooperating. Like I said, that NDA is going to get thrown out the window when it comes to a criminal case. You know, there's the Lil Rod lawsuit. A lot of it sounds like fabrication, but there might be some truth in this. Because
What would you say makes it sound like fabrication the most?
Well, I read through the whole lawsuit. Lil Rod was a producer that worked with Diddy on an album, produced some songs.
Pause at his name, by the way. Pause.
Lil Rod?
Yeah.
No
pause.
Diddy?
Pause.
You know,
Oh, for the love of God.
I mean, according to Cassie, Diddy was into big rods, so maybe, you know what I mean? You know, I don't know what he's doing with Lil Rod, you know? But, you know, Lil Rod said that Diddy promised that if he, you know, worked on his album, he would give him his $20 million Miami mansion. Like,
Must have been on a
who's
mushrooms
believing
on
that
purpose.
shit? Who's believing that
Yeah,
shit?
like who's?
That's what he's fucking saying, bro.
Yes, no, he's not saying it, it's written in the lawsuit. Really? Okay, I didn't know that. But, you know, there is some ridiculous stuff in there. He
Right.
said that Diddy continuously tried to grab his anus. Diddy walk around naked and shower in front of him, and
How much of this stuff just sounds like someone being vengeful?
a lot of it
lot of
sounds
it.
like it.
Yeah.
But there might be some
crazy,
truth
though.
sprinkled in there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There might be. And you can't say that. And there was a whole part about how Diddy and his son shot a man in the bathroom of a studio and then put him outside and made it look like a drive-by. And there's actually pictures in the bathroom with blood in the bathroom. And then there's an article about the actual shooting that happened at that same studio. Who knows? Who knows? Some of it, I'm sure a lot of it is fabrication, but there might be some tidbits, and all you need is a few tidbits to really get indicted. And if you really think about it, right? R. Kelly did not go to prison for underage girls. He went to prison for sex trafficking. And if you fly a girl out for the purpose of sex, that technically is sex trafficking.
Run for it, guys!
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rapper.